Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm Banjo Ben. I teach you how to play banjo and mandolin. And this week is Guitar Week, and we're doing something that is very, very useful as a guitar player. You need to know how to do it, and if you don't know how to do it, it's time to get them feet wet. We're going to do some cross-picking guitar rhythm, particularly for ballads, and we're going to concentrate out of the G position. Now, I'm going to teach you a song, backup for a song that I wrote, named after my wife there. Brownie points. Fellers, you know what I'm talking about. But you don't have, of course, your song's not going to have that particular chord progression, but I'm going to show you most all the tools that you need to know to play this kind of rhythm out of the G position. When you get done with this, you'll be like, yeah, I got it. I can do it. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the website. You can join as a GoPick member, have access to hundreds of lessons, guitar, banjo, mandolin. I've got the tab exactly like I played. I got JamTrack MP3, so you can come over there and practice playing along to me on mandolin. How about that? It's pretty cool. Let's jump right into Hannah's song on guitar now. Let's work on some cross-picking guitar rhythm. Now, if you just listen to that song that I played there, it's called Hannah's Song. I named that after my wife. I wrote it for this lesson. I loved it so much, I thought, well, I'm going to name it after the most beautiful person I know, my wife, Hannah. And if you'll notice a couple things about it, we're in the key of G. So today, we're going to be concentrating on playing out of the position of G. And so that song is written to expose you to most every chord that you're going to encounter when you're playing in the key of G. So you're going to have G, you're going to have a couple different Ds, you're going to have an E minor 7, you're going to have a C, an A minor 7, and back to the G. So we'll work on some different voicings. The other thing that you'll notice is that it's very, very syncopated. And I wrote that on purpose too. So we want to have lots of notes on the upstrokes, and I did that so that our rhythm would provide more of a rhythm base for it. And so it's very, very important when you get in those syncopated songs like that, that's always has a lot of notes happening on the upbeats, that you provide a very solid, even rhythm bed. If you can imagine like a horse trotting on the road, tekka, 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 that's what we're wanting to provide. Okay, so we'll do that. Now we're going to be concentrating primarily on forward rolls, but I'm going to show you some other ones and some transition licks. We'll cover those. But the point is not necessarily to learn Hannah's song, the backup for this. The point is, as I point out how to play it, you're going to learn the tools that you need to go in the key of G and play this kind of cool rhythm. And this stuff works well when you're playing faster too. And when you're just strumming, you can throw this stuff in. Okay, let's go ahead and throw out the first line of tap. You'll notice that we have our chords up above the measure. So we've got a measure of G, then a measure of D that we're going to play over an F sharp, and then a measure of E minor 7, actually a couple measures. And you also notice we have our pick stroke arrows beneath it. I'm going to ask you to practice doing the alternate pick strokes. Okay, so we're going to do down, up, 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 down, up. And I know that you can do them, you know, triple downs and ups, you know, however you want to do it, but I encourage you to do it down, up, because it's going to, if you've never done that before, it's going to really work on some great skills for you and allow you to do it faster later on. Okay, so when we approach our G chord, many of the times when I'm playing out of the G position and out of the key of G, playing this type of stuff, I'm not going to do a full G chord. And a lot of times I don't want that top note ringing. I want to keep it more mid-rangey. That's what we're going to do here. So I'm only playing with 2 fingers here. I'm playing my low 3rd fret. Then I've got that 5th string muted with the bottom part of my middle finger. And then I've got this 3rd fret on the 2nd string muted, or fretted on the 3rd fret. Now you can, I might put down my pinky there just because out of habit, that's how I make my bluegrass G chord. Okay, so we're going to do a measure of that. And then the only thing that's going to change next, we're going to throw over our thumb over the top, okay? And we're going to get that F sharp as the bass note. And then with our index finger, we're going to grab the 2nd fret. So we're not going to play the whole D chord. You could, but we don't have to. We're just going to grab the 2nd and 3rd strings. So just practice that movement. And when you add that together with your pick hand, concentrate on being even, concentrate on all of your notes having the same velocity, the same volume, and concentrate on not muting your strings with your pick hand. And I want to cover that right quick. I haven't yet, but you know, there's lots of different forms to use with your pick hand, and there's a lot of great players out there that do it a bit differently. But for me, I'm going to not move from the elbow very much at all. I'm going to try to limit that. We don't want a lot of movement. And then I'm going to lightly let my pinky just brush the top of the guitar. It's going to provide a little directional control. Let me know where I'm at on the top of the guitar. But my movement's going to come from my wrist doing this movement and my thumb joint doing this movement. And I'm going to try to keep my fingers, try my best. Even my fingers are deformed. I'll have to show you that sometime. They don't straighten all the way out. They're crooked. But I'm going to try to keep my fingers out of these strings so that I'm not muting it, which is really hard to do whenever I play my first string. I've got to really work on it. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. That's just so pretty. And then the only thing that's going to change there, when we go to the E minor 7, we're going to release our thumb and then fret the 2nd fret of the 4th string. We're going to play that for 2 measures. So you'll notice our bass string is going boom, 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 boom. So I have a measure G, measure D, measure of E, 2 measures of E minor. You could have, for the D chord, gone up and done a regular D chord. Let me play that and you can hear the difference. It sounds fine to play G, D, E minor. But we can also think outside the box a little bit and let our bass notes lead the ear a little bit. I know that I'm going from G down to E. And so there's a note in between, that F sharp, which is in that D chord, so that's why I'm using it. And it just gives it more of a floatier sound, right? Okay, as we get to the next line, we're going to go...